Is Bitcoin and the stock market going for a blow off top now? I believe we're close to some very big resistance levels, and we should consider that before we start calling for a blow off top. But yeah, over the next few weeks, few months, it does look like the option of a blow off top is now back on the table. But remember, who told you that weeks ago? Even it's been over a month now. I kept on saying we're back in for a blow off top. I mean, if you just look at my Twitter or if you're on my Discord, if you look at any of my videos from the past 4 weeks, I've been saying blow off top, very likely coming. So the if we're going to get rejected, I believe it would be somewhere like here. Just remember, I'm playing devil's advocate to give you guys both options, right? If we're going to turn down something like a triple top here, usually it would go slightly above, make everyone celebrate, right? Go to something like 110, 111, 112, low 110s, and to make everyone think new all-time high coming and turn down. That would be one option, right? That would be one option. I'm not in that camp, right? Just to say it again, I'm not in that camp. I've been calling for a blow off top and even altcoin season for all this time. Why do I think that a blow off top is coming? Well, one of the first things I said was that because this was due to Trump, Trump gonna cave on his tariffs. Well, you could actually say that both China and Trump caved on their tariffs. So basically, the levels on the, have a look at the levels on the stock market, because the stock markets are now at big resistance levels. And if you still don't are in the camp of Bitcoin's an independent asset, has great relative strength, well, just have a look at this, right? I've been saying this over and over again. Bitcoin basically plays out, if you want to say, follow the stock market, and if you're going to get triggered by that, Bitcoin basically just highly correlates with the stock market, put it that way. Where did it bottom? Where did it bottom? This is April 7th, right? April 7th. Check Bitcoin chart. Where did Bitcoin bottom? At 74K. My call is 73K. April 7th, right? And then where's the bounce up to now? Bitcoin almost new all-time high, 103K, right? Where's the SP 500 and NASDAQ now? Almost new all-time high, about 8%, 9% off. But the problem is this. Look at this. So have a look at this. The first of all, this has been on my chart for a long time, 585 on the Spider ETF, SP 500 ETF, for folks who've been watching. And also, look at this. If we look at this entire drop, and we were to put a Fibonacci extension on it, Fibonacci levels on it, this 585 area is also this 0.786 retrace on the SP 500. So basically, you have two major levels here, right? First of all, this has been an extended run. You had one pullback here. I was expecting a pullback here, and we started to pull back, and then China started negotiating with the US, and then took off, right? So it gapped up because of the China negotiation, and then it surprised everyone that Trump caved. Well, also China caved to an extent as well. So that's why. But now we're at this level, which has two resistance levels here. And but the next question we have to ask ourselves is, which crypto exchange does Pablo He-Man use? Well, Pablo uses this exchange that's non-KYC. That means you don't need to show any ID. That means, of course, Americans can then use it because they can't even see who you are. That means the IRS can't see you, the CIA can't see you, tax office cannot see you, FBI, nobody can see you. I've made this deal with them. That's the Pablo He-Man link. Deposit and receive up to $200 US just by depositing. And in trade, went up to $35,000 US, right? Limited time only though, until June 4th, guys. Chance to win a Tesla Model 3, Rolex, Vision Pro, Apple Vision Pro, Sony, the cameras, all sorts of weird, wonderful prizes. If you're watching this on YouTube, then the link is in the description below. The link is in the description below. For everyone else who are watching it on different platform, that's okay. So for example, this one, just click on my profile page and then click on the Stan link, and it should be the first deal that comes up on the Stan link. Okay, let's get back to the markets, but keep in mind, folks, there you go, the Stan link, Bitunix deal. Remember, folks, only on the Pablo He-Man link. All right. So basically, I think it is quite likely and possible we get this pullback, right? We get this pullback in the markets. because it's not just the SP 500, but also if we were to look at the QQQ, the NASDAQ, this is also happening. So for example, on the NASDAQ, we see that now, and this was the big bounce. But not the Qs, the NASDAQ 100, the NASDAQ itself, by the way. So we have this resistance level because this is the 0.786 once again, right? Resistance level on the Fibonacci retrace of the entire drop. But also look at this level. This is the bottom of the channel. I'll just show you guys. Look at this. So this entire bull run, well, not the entire bull run, but this bull run of starting since 2023, for the last 2 years, have basically bounced off in this bull run. Then we left that channel, boom. And then Trump started to cave, and then boom, we're now back. And then we're now at this level. You might see it better if I put it on a weekly chart. So on the weekly chart, and this was a big gap because both China and US caved, and they went back to the negotiation table, boom, right here, we're right here, right? So once again, both the bottom of the channel and this 786 retrace level on the Fibonacci. So basically, if the stock market is gonna do a fake out and then pull back, it would be at this level. It will be at this level because you drop, you bounce, fake out when everyone thinks a new all-time high is coming, and then we go down and the bear market starts. Now, just to remind everyone, that's not my scenario. My base scenario, which I believe is going to happen, is we pull back a little, freak everyone out, make everyone think that's what's going to happen, and then we go for a new all-time high. I don't think it's going to be like a 3-5 year bull run. I call it a blow off top. So it's going to be very sharp, right? You're going to see lots of good news, such as Trump walking back more on his tariffs, such as big cuts in interest rates, the Fed's panicking, news that's not even been discounted yet, and everyone think the markets will just go up forever. But I believe it tops sometime near the end of this year, as early as September, late as November-ish area. So between those 3 months, September, October, November is where I would watch for a top. Until then, I think it's going to be a big blow-off top run. Big moves on Bitcoin and ETH. So, for example, if you're on my Discord, just have a look at this scenario. This is what I was talking about before. Part of the reason why I was giving out warnings around December and January, January on the NASDAQ, is because of this. Here is because I saw that DeepSeek was going to come out and it's going to crash the price of NVIDIA. And I said at the time that that NVIDIA is basically going down. And when past my target, remember how everyone thought NVIDIA was invincible? It was like the best thing ever, invincible. I drew this around mid-December. I said DeepSeek's going to come out, and this is how I see it playing out. It went down. You can see that's the brown line is what I drew, but it actually went down faster because of because of the Trump tariff thing and the DeepSeek thing. But now Trump is in the Middle East pumping NVIDIA, and it's actually gone up more. Right, I haven't drew the bounce up line yet, but I did warn in my Discord that the way they would get the blow off top is they fool everyone into a new narrative. You know exactly what I'm talking about if you're in my Discord, because warned about this situation a long time ago. I said they would try to suck everyone in and pretend that there is no problem. There's no problem with these NVIDIA GPUs, that everyone would still want them. Everyone would still love to have them, and DeepSeek doesn't mean anything, doesn't discount the story of NVIDIA. So we could potentially see, okay, once again, two scenarios. What either gets rejected around this 140 area and go down, and that's the end of the bull market. I said since even back in January, I said they're going to suck everyone in with a bull crap narrative and go boom, basically blow off top, and everyone thinks this is going to be biggest bull run ever. American century would never end, but that would be the top, and then we go down. How high it would go, I'm not sure, but the timing for me is somewhere near the end of the year, something like around October. Give it or take 1 month. That's when 1929, the market's top. So that now have a look at Bitcoin and Ethereum, see where we are with those two.
So Bitcoin and Ethereum, that's Bitcoin is basically its own resistance is this double top here. By the way, people might be thinking, oh, we haven't hit 109K yet, which was the all-time high top. But that's not true because, see, when Bitcoin closed at 104.7K, right, that was the third highest close of all time because there's only been one close, two close, and three closes that were higher. So it was the fourth highest close of all time in terms of closes, and even this close here is already quite high that we got yesterday. Is already quite high. So the Bitcoin resistance is around here, something like 109K, 108K, but I think it will eventually break through. Maybe a little bit of mind game here and go up. So basically, what we're seeing the last 2 days with Bitcoin is that there was some worries for people like myself because you had very good news, such as Bitcoin, such as the trade tariffs, the trade deal announced by US and China. People were expecting a deal coming, but not that it would roll back and walk back that much, right? They're now on a rate that is almost lower than April the 2nd, Liberation Day, lower than before all of this began. So basically the rate is much lower now. And on such good news, Bitcoin didn't bounce. And yesterday we had the CPI session. The CPI come out, low CPI again. Markets bounced. That's why we're seeing the NASDAQ up, SP 500 up, Bitcoin still not reacting. So chance for a pullback is there. But I'm not expecting a major pullback. What I told my Discord is I think we get a crab walk, a sideways shuffle that could take us to the high 90s, at worst low 90s. The reason why is this. In a bull market, at the start of a new leg up, usually there's no significant pullbacks. Like, see, it just basically consolidates upwards. The reason why is because most people got sidelined. Right? And most people didn't buy. So they're expecting, oh, Bitcoin's going up now. I'll buy the pullback. No pullback. Bitcoin's going up. I'll buy the pullback. No pullback. Oh, Bitcoin's definitely going for a new all-time high now. I'll wait for a pullback in the mid-90s. No pullback. Or 92K. No pullback, right? It basically, when does Bitcoin pull back? When does crypto pull back, right? It will pull back basically when everyone can't wait anymore. What the market makers are essentially waiting for is this. They're waiting for basically everyone to basically FOMO in. They've waited for a pullback, it doesn't pull back, and then Bitcoin hits a new all-time high at 110, 111K, 112K. They're like, oh, surely now it's going to run to, 120 minimum, 130, 150K, then I better just jump in now. It's never going to come back to 92K. That's when people buy, and that's when you get one of those, when everyone has piled in, that's when you get one of those big flashes where Bitcoin goes down for like 8 to 12% in one day, and altcoins go down like 20, 25% in one day. That's usually when it happens. So the reason why it's difficult to make money in the markets in the short term by trading in and out is because it's a huge psychological test. The time to buy, obviously, was around here when it was at around 74K, right? Well, whether it's on Twitter or in these videos, I kept on saying, bottom at 73K, bottom at 73K. That was my call. That was my target, right? Okay, missed it by 1K, but that's still pretty close. If you were waiting for that, I doubt many people were waiting for an exact 73K to get in. The way to do it would have been to dollar cost average here, and here. Then you would at least have half a position in. So for Ethereum, okay, let's have a look at Ethereum. Ethereum, basically, the two reasons why Ethereum's running up right now. One is because the both probably to do with BlackRock. One is they're asking for the SEC for they're asking for the SEC for clarification and approval on yields, staking yields on Ethereum. I've explained this before, spoken about this before, so that's very positive for Ethereum. Another thing the BlackRock is doing with the SEC is they've already gotten the approval, is that going to do in-kind redemption. So if you hold the Ethereum ETF,
you now don't have to sell it and then going to buy your Ethereum. You could, in-kind redemption is when you want to leave the Ethereum ETF of BlackRock, you could just say, well, now, rather than me selling it and force prices down in the market, can you just give me my Ethereum? They'll say, well, how many units do you hold? You hold, say, 3 units in the Ethereum ETF. That converts to 1 Ethereum. I'm just making up these numbers, but it'll be a conversion ratio. Okay, that means you get 1 Ethereum. What is your wallet address? You show them your wallet address and they send that. So basically, both things are very supportive of Ethereum price. And so far, Ethereum has made a 2x bounce down. 2x bounce now from the bottom, almost 2x bounce. And that's where Solana is as well. Solana's made almost a 2x bounce as well. So basically, this Ethereum bounce, I mean, I've been dollar cost averaging down. I told folks I was buying it on the way down. I didn't get the bottom, but it's still very good for holders like me to see this. And a 2x bounce is always very, very welcome. I can potentially see now we actually do go to 4,100 and even a solid chance of breaking up for a new all-time high. Sounds crazy on ETH, but that's looking possible now. One more chart I'll just show you guys is Chainlink. Chainlink has been doing we can see here a shoulder, head, shoulder, right? And it broke that neckline, and that would give us a measured target of 20.5. I mean, if you want to go through and recheck my math, you can. That would give us a target of 20.5. That would also make sense as well because 20.5 gets us into this zone where we have lots of bottom, pivot bottom, a few bottoms here. So basically 20.5 next target for Chainlink as well. Okay, hopefully you guys are enjoying the markets. It's been pretty good since Pablo called for bottom at 73K and saying we're going to have a blow off top and altcoin season's already started. Thank you for following me. Check out my future episodes. Cheers. Bye.